Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which I'm calling a book card. The closing mechanism is a little tab here, which is concealed under the back there. You open it up and inside it's got pages like a book. Now I saw this being made in a video by Sam Hammond as Poodles, and when I saw it I thought what an amazing idea for a Christmas card if you want to send family photographs, or if there's a new baby in the family you want to send baby photographs, or if there's a wedding in the family, anything, because during the last couple of years, because of the pandemic, families have been kept apart so much, there must be loads of photos you want to share, that this would be a great idea. So all credit for this goes to Sam Hammond. That is my successful one. I've done this one as a birthday card, as you can see, and I've used the Sweet as a Peach set, and the one on the back there is for writing your greeting. As I say, for the closing mechanism is just a little tab idea. I was going to say I've forgotten to bring my punch over for that, but I haven't. Now this was my prototype really, and I'm happy with the card, but what I'm not happy about is this has just folded, whereas that one I actually scored. And you know, I'm always telling you, never fold your cards in half, always score them before you fold them, because you get a much better fold, and this is an excellent example. Anyway, as you see, another birthday card, and this one's masculine because I used the Big Cats. It was Big Cats stamp set, and I think the design series paper is called Wild Cats. As you can see, I forgot to put the one on here for a greeting, so I will probably do one there. Okay, so again, locking mechanism. I'm going to start by telling you the card pieces that you're going to be needing. First of all, Real Red, which measures, as usual, before I start giving you sizes, I'm going to give you sizes for A4 cardstock users in inches. I will put all the measurements in the box below, and that will include inches and centimetres for A4 cardstock users, and also inches, which I think I can work out for North American sizes. When you check underneath to see the sizes that I've written, sometimes at the top I put, please check layers with scrap paper before cutting cardstock, if I'm a little bit unsure about it, rather than you wasting your stash. So please always read that when you go and get your measurements. Anyway, Real Red cardstock measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8 inches. 2 pieces of designer series paper, and I've forgotten what this is called, Beautiful Place or something. Not Painted Christmas. Oh my goodness, I can't see it. Oh, Peaceful Place. Yes, Peaceful Place. So these are the two that I'm going to be using back and front. They measure 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Then the piece that goes all the way across and gives the folds, the bits that create the hinges, and this measures 5 1/2 inches by 10 3/4 inches. The pages inside, the Real Red, you need 2 pieces, and these measure 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And then 4 pieces for the pages, and I'm going to be using, I think, yes, oh, I could use that one as well. I don't know. I have planned to use those 2 and those 2. The 4 sizes there measure 3 5/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And a piece for the little tab, and that is 1 inch by 4 inches. And plenty of basic white for your images, and red cardstock for your layers as well. I've already done nearly all of mine ahead of time because there's obviously quite a lot there to do, and I think for a first time ever I'm making a religious Christmas card, which I don't think I've ever done. You can correct me on that if you can think of something that I've done previously. So there was a lot of bits and pieces to go inside, and I've heat embossed using silver, so I thought I'd just save 2 little bits that I'm going to do with heat embossing so that I can show you. And that is partly because I know that I've always got new crafters watching, and whereas lots of us think, you know, heat embossing is old hat, there are new people who haven't seen it, and I do like sharing it because it's one of those techniques where it never loses its excitement for me. It always amazes me how that happens. So I'm going to share it. Now I'm going to start off with this piece. Oh, that was that one. Oh, okay. I'll use this one. It's not really very Christmassy though, is it? No, I'm going to use this. So first of all we need our trimmer. Now I'm using the trimmer for the scoreboard this time. Right. Now, I'm sorry, but the score lines are in 1/8 of inches, but we'll take it slowly. So the first one is 3 7/8 inches, and you are scoring on designer series paper, so don't score too heavy, just a gentle once backwards and forwards, and that's fine. So that's 3 7/8 inches. Then you want 4 5/8 inches. Again, backwards and forwards, and then 5 3/8 inches. Now the next one is 6 1/8, which is right at the corner there. So instead of doing that, I take my paper out, turn it around 180 degrees, and do the first 2 score marks again. So that's 1 at 3 7/8 inches, gently backwards and forwards, and then 4 5/8 again. And that will give you 5 score lines. All of mine have got online, so I can't actually see them. We will need the scoreboard again in a little while. Right, now what you need to do, whichever side that you're going to have facing outwards, on your first fold line, fold it so that it's a valley fold. I think maybe I could have done a bit with a bit more pressure on my score lines. Let's have a look. Oh, I can see that. And then the next one is a mountain fold, and that's what you do. Mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. And these 2 mountains are going to be our hinges. When I decided to use this paper, because I wanted to do the silver embossing, I thought it all looked a bit dreary. But then I thought, no, bring a bright colour in with it. So I thought red would be good for this. Okay, now don't worry too much about, oh, I went the wrong way there, didn't I? Never mind. Don't worry about embossing these, burnishing these folds too much. As you know, paper will crack if you burnish it too much. And we will be giving it a lot of burnish in a little while. Okay, so there are 2 hinges. What we're going to do is we're going to adhere this in this bit here, and this is the only bit that's a little bit tricky, okay? So I'm going to be using Tombow because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. What we're going to do is we're going to take one side, put glue on it, and we are going to adhere it so that it is almost up to that line. Let's see if I can show you on this. No, you can't because it's all covered up. Okay, so let's have a go at this. Don't go too close to the edge, otherwise you'll find your glue will be oozing out. Okay, so I tend to hold those there and then curl that one. Oh no, it's got it back to front, haven't I? That's it. So I can hold all four like that and then get that one out of the way. Now this should have a nice gap all the way round, and then just move that up towards the line, making sure you're keeping straight here. Now let me show you the gap that I've got from the line. You can see the score line there and the edge of my designer series paper. Alright. Now we're going to do the same with this piece to get it glued over here. Okay, so hold the hinges, so you bring this one over and guide it into position. Make sure it stays straight and make sure you're getting your crease as close to that score line as possible. Okay, this is, as I say, this is the only tricky bit. Once you get past this, the fun starts. Right, now the only thing that I find with this is that doesn't lay down flat, and I have decided with mine what I'm going to do is, and this is a real cheat, it is something I can't believe I'm actually showing you, but it works. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay this over. As you can see, that comes up with it, alright? Which means if I had a page here, okay, when I brought that up, okay, it's just not right for me. Whether I'm not sure what I'm doing that is wrong. Anyway, I press this down, bring this one over, press it down, bring this one over, press it down. Keep this flat so that that is actually going flat. Now this amazes me because out of all the times I have tried this, the paper takes it and it doesn't split. I had my husband look at this, being an engineer, asking him if I was doing something wrong, if there was a better way of doing it, because to me, card making just shouldn't be a question of just squash it down. But in this instance, to me, it is the right thing to do. See, now when you press that down, the card only comes up that little bit. Let me see if I can show you sideways. There we go. Yes, you can get an idea of how that is. Right, it's not much of a thing, but you can hold it down really easily. Okay, just double checking that I've got everything straight, which I think I have. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll start putting our card together. I've got these two, and which are my two? Where's my other one for the outside? Oh, there we go. Did think I could put that on the outside, didn't I? Where's my... I'll show you where I've got all my... No, that's not right. I will show you where I've... the stamp sets that I've used for all my images and what have you. Okay, so I think that's good for there and good for there. See if it fits one better than the other. Don't think so. So we go back to what I thought was the front, which is this one. Okay, let's just adhere these on. Keep this handy in case I want to blot it if I put too much glue on. Okay, so we do these. this is really quite a quick, easy project to show you. It's only all the images and how you're going to fill the cards up that really take the time. But as you know, for me, card making is a hobby, it's my relaxation, and therefore it isn't something that should be rushed. I just consider myself very lucky that I can run my own business earning money while I'm doing my hobby. If anybody else likes that idea, it's a good time to join Stampin' Up, because they've got a really special offer on at the moment where you can choose your usual free gifts, but on top of that you can choose a free bundle from the new catalogue as well, and that is so well worth having. You can give it a go, find out whether it suits you. If it doesn't, then stay as a hobbyist, or you can even leave, no penalties. At least give it a try, that way you'll know. Right, now first of all I'm going to have one page here, so do I want that one there, which means that one will be on that side. So which one do I want at the front? I think I will go for this one. So let's get these two done. You can use your seal tape to adhere the pieces together. I do think you'll find the bit where you're putting the insert with the hinges, I do think you'll find that easier with the Tombow, but everything else you can use tear and tape or your seal, whichever is your preferred method. Now only do one side of this, don't do the second side. Right. Oh, crikey, look at that. That was a bit hairy. There we go. That's it, just put it over a little bit. You can come back a bit, I think. Yes, you can come back a bit. Yep. Now, what we're going to do, again, I'm going to be using my snail for this. Not snail, Tombow. Just cover that up while I'm thinking about this. Now, when you put this in here, what I'm doing is I line it up so that I've got the same sort of gap all the way around there. Now, obviously mine's going to look a little bit different because I'm looking at it from an angle. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down here. Make sure you've got the same little gap on your hinge, both sides. And by leaving that little gap, you will have a little bit from where your hinge folds. Okay, so that one can go over there. Yep, got the same gap top and bottom, but because this is on this side, it's covering up that one. So we're going to use the second one, we're going to put it on here, and again we're going to line that up there. Oh, I've done it, haven't I? I've done it. I shouldn't have put that on till the belt was on. Okay. Right, what I'm going to have to do is just get another piece of design series paper and cover up that one. Last week, if you remember when I did the video, I put on my piece of paper, don't forget ribbon, which helped me to remember. Unfortunately, I didn't do that this week. There we go. Okay, so they're the pages inside. They don't come out anywhere. Nice and straight, even. Brilliant. So now we need to put the pieces on this side. I'm going to be doing these like this, so they get the even little edge around. I wonder what that would look like. Let me just get one of these. Well, it would do alright if I had something like that, wouldn't it? If I did something like that. It probably would work, but I'm going to stick to the original plan, I think. Now this comes over your hinge, line up so that you've got your usual 1/8 of an inch gap around there. Yep, that's good. So again, you've got the same amount of gap here to your hinge as you have that side. And we do the same with this one. What's designs on the back of that one? Oh, not the right one. Fortunately, the design series paper is right behind me, so it won't take too much to get hold of it. There we go. So that's all the pages. That's the book put together. This is the buckle, which I have messed up a little bit in as much as I spoilt the, oh, it was the trees, wasn't it? Okay, let's get that. Peaceful place, it goes in there. Right, what size do I need? Card base, DSP, 3 7/8 by 5.5. Okay, let's do that. Do the 3 7/8 first. I tend to always cut my smallest size first. I think it's the most economical way to be with paper. Doesn't mean to say I'm necessarily right though. Right, so that's 3 7/8. Matches up at the bottom. You can just about see that now. Okay. 3 7/8 by 5.5. Right, while I'm here, I'm going to line this up at 2 inches and score it, and then I'm moving it over to 2 1/8, and I'm going to score it again. And let me just get the punch that I want to use as well. This one's called the Lovely Labels Picker Punch. You don't really need to do this, it's just that as you pull the tab out, it's just got a little bit of fancy there, okay? So I think, let's do this one. Oh, that's a bit wider than an inch, so it's not going in as easily as it could. There we go. Alright. Any kind of tab punch, you could, no, you couldn't fishtail it, could you? Because you want a point to go through. And I did stamp over with a flower on the peach one, and I have a stamp here of a star which I can use. Before I go on, let me show you the cardstock, the stamps that I'm using. First of all, I'm using that big Peace on Earth. That's going to be the one that goes on the front of my card. From this one, I'm using Christmas Begins with Christ and Hark the Herald Angels. Oh, there's another star in that one. And my Three Wise Men. I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to do that with you. I'm using that one, Wise Men Still Seek You. I think they're all the ones that I'm going to be using. Let's see what this star is. The only reason I'm thinking about choosing a different star is because that one is going to be heat embossed, so I won't make it dirty with red ink. In fact, what I might do, use Versamark on it. So is this, oh, it's a cling stamp. So should we put the label on? Just take that bit off. There are several different ways of doing this. If you don't find it easy to follow the way that's on the inside the lid, find your own way to do it. I prefer to do it this way. Right, have I got another stamping block here? I think I have. Oh, it's a bit big, but never mind. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp this over here, aren't I? Let's do Versamark. Versamark doesn't matter if you get it dirty. Oops, I pressed too heavy on that. Let's turn it over. You can go on the inside. When you do this, the image will just dry. It won't be sticky, even though Versamark is a sticky ink. It really is just like a watermark, it's great. Okay. If you think that doing tone on tone, like using the red, would be too much, then use the Versamark. Now before I put this in my card, what I'm going to do is, oops, let's move that back again. I always move that out of the way when I'm putting labels on stamps, is just give this a little bit of a curl. It just helps with the bending process. Okay, now I'm going to fold on the two score lines. And they don't need to be burnished really solid, so that's fine. So what do I do with my card? Here it is. So let's hope that is a bit bigger than that one. Yes, it is. Well done. So first of all, I'm going to put that, glue that in there, and I'm only going to try and get a rough idea of where is halfway. Okay, so it's about there. Have I got a pencil somewhere? Yes, there we go. So that's about halfway. It's not crucial. Whoops. But obviously it needs to be sort of centred. Let me cover up the one that I did wrong. I don't go right up to the edge on this. And you've probably noticed that I've only done one layer on my cards. I haven't done the middle layer. I did on the one for the masculine one with the wild cats. Before I go on, see how that's nice and neat with the score lines. And this is the cat one. How it looks rough, to say the least. Okay, that's why it's much, much better. But as you can see, I've done the white layers on all of these. It works. The 1/8 of an inch score line there, I'm sure will still work. But it does make the card quite a lot heavier, and I know that is a concern for some people. Now, seeing that like that, you don't actually need to cover that up, do you? Well, I'm not going to cover that up, but what I would have done is I would have adhered that piece over it. But I quite like that. I don't think it's very straight, but never mind. What do you think? Covering it up or not covering it up? I'm definitely not going to cover it up. Right, for the centre here, let me bring my bits and pieces down. Whoops. In fact, shall I do the stamping first? Okay, so that's going to be my one on there. I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals so that I can tuck that in under there. All right, that's the piece on Earth. You see, embossed with silver. Right, I need that. I don't know if I need another star, but as I'm doing heat embossing, I might as well. And I need one of those. I've already got one of those. As they're on the same block, I might as well do them, mightn't I? Okay, let me show you what we do. Lots of people will show you different ways of doing this, okay? So, and there's not really right and wrong. The only time it's wrong is if you overheat it and you spoil it, and you can overheat it quite easily. So first of all, I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock. Okay, and get all of those onto one. And you need to go over your cardstock with an embossing buddy. This is just powder, and it removes any greasy, sticky finger marks, any static, so that when you put your powder on your cardstock, on top of your images, it won't adhere where you don't want it to adhere. Okay, so there's that. And Versamark again. Versamark takes a little while to to dry, so you've got time to do different images before one dries. So that's the third king that I'm missing. I don't know that I need him, but I feel that I should use him because we all assume that there are 3 kings, which isn't actually fact. The only reason we think there are 3 kings is because the 3 gifts, which was frankincense, myrrh, gold. Right, let's do this here. Okay. This is sitting at an angle so I can see exactly where that's gone. Don't know if you can. If you're using a colour for your embossing, and there you go. It's quite handy if your birthmark gets a little bit on the dirty side, because then you can see it very easily. Right, so there's that. And my embossing powder, this is gold. I don't need gold. That's what I was using last night. Let's find the silver. Yes, that's silver. Let's pop that one away. What I do with mine, I think we could do it this way. Okay, get it all into the corner there. Okay, now I'm going to move this way and tap it on the side like that. I'm not doing it right here where you can see because it'll go all on my work. Okay, so you heard me doing that, and I will just give it a puff. So now I'm going to heat emboss that. Be prepared to be amazed. Right, I'm going to use my heat tool. It will create a bit of noise, but it won't take long. Okay, and before I actually put it onto my images, I'm going to let it heat up for 10-15 seconds, okay? For those of you who haven't seen that before, isn't it amazing? Right, so we can move these out of the way now. We don't need them. What we do need is to die cut these, and the other thing that I wanted to die cut, show you how I did, is this double layering of stitching here. I've used the whole lot, but the bit that gets cut out in the middle, there's no reason why you can't save that for another project. Let's move these out of the way, and I'll bring my big shot up. I used my big shot because with the cut and emboss, I recommended not to use the magnetic platform, although it does fit, as it hasn't been tested. Stampin' Up not advising you to use it, and they are saying that it will, if you have problems with your machine and you've been using the magnetic platform, it will make your guarantee with them null and void. Right, the dies that I'm using here are our rectangle stitch dies, and I am using numbers 5 and 6. Now I always count my dies from the middle. The smaller the die, smaller the number. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So first of all I'm going to do the red one. And another tip for you, if you find that your stitch dies are becoming difficult to remove from your cardstock, use a piece of wax paper over. Let's just fold that up a bit, otherwise that's going to scrunch through my machine. Okay, so for this I am going to do this one. In fact, I might need to use some washi tape to keep these together. Let me just get a piece from here. This isn't actually washi tape, this is a purple tape that is very popular in America, in the States. I'm not sure whether this one is as good as, because I do still have to be very careful, whereas when I see US or US demonstrators using it, there seems to come off quite easily, but I have to be very careful. Right, okay. Now, because I'm using the magnetic platform, you're probably asking yourself why bother about the tape, and it's because I'm using 2 dies and I don't want either of them to move, which they can do because I'm using the wax paper. Okay. So that can get thrown away. Put those pieces over there. Now you've done that, you have 2 options. One, you can save that for another project and use this one, or you can use both of these, which is what I'm going to be doing. So that was number 6. Remove that, use that, and now this is the smaller one, this is number 6. I'm going to cut that. When you use these straight dies, they do go through a lot easier if you put them at an angle rather than putting them through straight like I've just done. Now that should cut a lot easier because it's just been through on wax paper. There we go. You know when you need to do something about your dies when these stitches start pulling. Sometimes might actually tear. So wax paper works a treat, it really does. So that's the bits for my greetings. Now I'm going to cut these, and I always cut mine into individual pieces because especially when you've got little ones like this, whereas the big ones will very likely stay in place where you put them, the smaller ones can jump. So if you can move it to a place where it's happy without dragging everything else around with it, it does make life a lot easier. Right, my dies are the ones that go with the Great Tidings stamp set. Okay, so that's stamp set. These are the dies. This one, the big arch, you can use and cut out from a larger piece, and through the arch you can see whatever you've put on the reverse side, like you build yourself a little town of some sort. Okay, but I might as well do the star. Whoops. Oh, it's glue. And the grassy thing. And that king. So let's see. Let's do the king first. Bit of a struggle to see it because there's a shine on it. Okay. These are the 3 gifts: gold, frankincense and myrrh. A star. And I'll call that a palm. I imagine that's what it's designed to be. You're jumping. That looks right. Oh no, maybe not. Move it up just a tad. Yeah, I think that's good. That looks good. That was looking pretty good until I moved it. That might be easy just to fussy cut it. They're all straight lines. Right, and he looks alright. Right, fingers crossed with this one. Just don't want that king to jump. There we go. Oh, beautiful. The king has cut beautifully. The star would be better if it was fussy cut. The palm, it's not too bad. And the gifts. Oh, that's okay. Good, good. Okay, let's say 75% success with that one then. Right, now I'm going to start decorating my card. And some of it I'm going to be doing with dimensionals. That's what I'm going to be doing on the outside. Small. Small. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Let's move those out of the way. Right, so first of all I'm going to be doing this one. As you can see, that star was okay. So what I need to remember is don't come lower and lower than that. Tweezers, I had them here a moment ago, didn't I? Oh, there they are. Right, so what I'm going to do is just do some pencil lines. That's it. Don't put dimensionals there. Yesterday I was watching a video, I can't remember who the lady was, excuse me, but she did the thing that Lisa Curcio does, which is use her pickup tool to remove the backings off of these, and she went through it. She was really very determined about the way she did it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to give that a try. I won't try it while I'm doing a video though, because it could be a waste of time. The thing is, I find it works quite well with the tweezers. Well, I have to say it isn't as good as what Lisa's able to do. There we go. I should have rounded those corners if I was going to leave it like that, but I'll know next time. So there we go. Let's decorate. Let's do the back one first because we know what we're putting there. Now what I do is I adhere the outer first and then I put that there and then I put that on top because that way this gets a bit of dimension. But if you wanted to save that one for another project, that will fit inside there perfectly. Okay, same sort of effect, you just don't get that little bit of dimension. So choice is yours. I think I will do this bit first. Adhere the shape. In fact, let's have that piece ready as well. There we go, you move over there. Have I got the wrong side? Yep. In fact, I think I'll do this piece first. So just centre that. There we go, and then pop that one over the top. And then this one goes in the middle. There we go, and I think I'll put the gifts on this page. Oh, I didn't silence my computer. Okay, so that's where you write your greeting. I've got another one of these ready. And again, you could stamp this onto here before you've mounted it, obviously, if you didn't want to fussy cut it, die cut it rather. But again, for me, it just gives it a bit of extra dimension. I just blotted that a little bit because there was quite a lot of glue on his head. Okay, so I've got 3 of these. I've also got Wise Men Still Seek Him, Christmas Begins with Christ, Hark the Herald Angels, and that, it looks like I've got too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Right, I'm going to put the 3 kings in, definitely. Obviously the other ones won't be wasted, whatever I decide not to use, because I will use them for different projects. Oops, come back. Oh, excuse me while I switch that off. Where's the sound? That's it. I normally remember to switch that off before I get started. In fact, I think I will have this and then the 3rd king on the next page, so that I'll have another sentiment by the other king. Yeah, so no, they've all got a sentiment by the side of them. as I say, this would be a fabulous idea if you want to send photographs to somebody, not just at Christmas either. Right. Yeah, I don't think I can put any others on, can I? Right, I'm going to use Christmas Begins with Christ. That's one of my favourite sayings at Christmas. There's 3 actually, I thought there was 2, but there's 3. There's this one. The other one is Jesus is the reason for the season. I like that. And I'm going to put 2 on here. And wise men still seek him as well. I like that. So what's your favourite? Glory to God in the highest. That looks better because it's a different shape. Okay. There we go. Yes, we don't want any more. No, that is it. That is my card for today, which, as I say, I'm calling it a book card for obvious reasons. Hope you like it and hope you give it a try. As I say, the only tricky bit was getting those pages in, but it did go quite easy this time. I'm really very, very pleased. Now, as you've put all those extra layers on there, it's got quite a bit thicker. Okay, so with the band, okay, it works beautifully. And it keeps it all nice and tidy. So many thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. There's this one as well. Let's open them both up for you. And then for the masculine one, we'll leave closed. Alright. I will be writing about today's projects on my blog for tomorrow morning, which will be the 22nd of August 2021. All the measurements and the products that I've used will be in the box below the video. I will also list out all the products used for this one, and there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. If you decide to shop with me, first of all, thank you very much. I appreciate your business. But please remember to quote the hostess code there when you're checking out your order, because that way when I send you your happy mail, which is a handmade thank you card by me, unused, with an envelope, and also a handmade thank you gift, I can also send you some free product as well. So that would be very much appreciated. And if you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click the bell so you get the notifications. Don't forget, we are still in celebration until the 30th of September, which means you will get a free gift for every £45 or €60 of your order, and that applies to every £45 or €60. So if your order is £90 or €120, you get to choose 2 gifts, and so on. The more you spend, the more that you can choose. By the way, don't use this code if your order is greater than £150 or €225, I believe. 150, yeah, must be 225, because that way you'll earn your own stamping rewards, which you get to spend and choose your own free gifts. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, take care, stay safe. Cheerio.